Hey y'all, so I'm just sitting here, I'm in my car on my lunch break, just thinking about something, and I want to talk to y'all about your kids and bullies. And I'm not talking about the bullies that you see in school, I'm not talking about other kids, I'm talking about adult bullies.
I was really bullied as a kid by adults. And now that I am an adult, I realize where that shit came from. Like, they felt no importance in comparison to the people their age.
Bullying is often associated with kids. When I say kids, I am referring to elementary, middle school, and high school, right? Because you have adults who believe that, high school kids that may be well developed, the way that they are built, their height. However, they are children. Okay. So bullying is often associated with kids, whether that be on the schoolyard, at the park, on the playground, etc. But what's not really discussed enough is full grown adults at big, gigantic ages who get their rocks off taunting kids, bullying kids, wanting to physically tussle with kids. And this is a disturbing but important issue to address because it's more common than many people realize or care to believe or deal with. And it happens anywhere where children are. Again, children ranging from elementary, middle school through high school. Anywhere where children frequent, whether that be school, whether that be on a sports team where they have a coach, whether the kids are playing over at their friends' homes or even in their own homes. So I remember, I'm going to share a personal experience. I remember being, I'm going to say around 9 or 10 years old, right? And my mom and my dad would let me ride my bike outside on the block, you know. So I remember just, going outside riding my bike. I used to love to ride my bike. And one of our neighbors, she lived about 5 or 6 houses up the street from where we lived. Again, at that time, I was about 9 or 10. She had to be around 19, 20 years old, fresh out of high school, but considered an adult and way too old to be bullying a 9 or 10 year old. So I would ride my bike. She would say things, try to say things about what I had on, what I was wearing, try to make or not try, she was make disparaging remarks about what I had on. She would even physically stand in the way so that I could not ride my bike, from one end of the block to the other end of the block. And I wasn't allowed to ride my bike in the street, right? So, she would stand in the way physically and just say disparaging things, make jokes. And I would just, bust a U turn. I'm a kid. I'm a kid, Um, and I remember like just feeling like confused. Why is this chick, why is she saying the things that she's saying? Like, what is her problem with me? That was what was going through my head as a child, as a 9 or 10 year old, right? And at that time, well, my mom would do my hair. I had two long braids, two long ponytails with the ballies. You know how our moms used to do our hair back in the day, right? This is late 80s, early 90s, right? So I told my mom what happened. Um, Before that, though, I just kind of remember not really wanting to ride my bike anymore. And my mom was like, you're not going out. You don't want to ride your bike. You don't want to go outside. I said, no, I don't want to. And she kind of probed and got in my head about what was really going on. And I told her what was going on. So, my mom, she was ready to go out there and put hands and feet on this chick. So our next door neighbor, our immediate neighbor, who we consider family to this day, right? Our neighbor who was friends with the chick that was bullying me. When my mom told her what happened, she said, "You know what? You don't have to do anything. I got it. I got this, right? You don't have to do anything. I'm gonna go talk to her." I don't know what she said to this chick, but I didn't have any more problems with her. I know that. I know whatever she said to her, I know that I was able to ride my bike from one end of the block to the next end and back. I didn't have to bust no U-turns. I didn't have to go in the street. None of that. You know. So whatever she told her, this chick She fell back. And it's really sad because again, this woman was an adult, and my neighbor, who I consider a big sister, right? I consider her a big sister to this day. She's the one that defended me. She's the one that stopped my mom from ending up in an orange, or or I'll say brown, because in PA, in Philly, the jail system, the detention centers, where they wear brown, right? She stopped my mom from putting hands and feet on this chick where she would end up wearing a brown jumpsuit and having to be in prison, incarcerated over me, right? So I just remember again feeling, confused. Why is this chick? What is her problem? I'm just a kid. I just want to ride my bike up and down the street, you know? So there are many adults who behave in this way. What she was trying to do was humiliate me. Again, she would say disparaging things. I was dressed like a 9 or 10 year old. I wasn't even focused on what I was wearing. My mom dressed me. My mom picked out my outfit. I put it on and went outside to play. That's it, right? But what she was trying to do was humiliate me because she was envious of me. Found that out later on, after some years went by, and we kind of went over the events. This chick was jealous of me. This chick was a 19 or 20 years old. Again, at that age, I'm looking up to women. I'm looking up to women at that age, right? I'm understanding that they're not my mom's age, but they're not my age neither. So I'm looking up to them. But yet this chick has a problem with me, right? So she wanted to humiliate me because she was envious of me. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I was a pretty little girl, long hair. You know what I mean? At that time, I was very shy. I was very shy. Um, I would even say a little timid. I was very shy, very quiet, very reserved. I was okay playing by myself. I didn't need a group of other children around me. It was something about me that disturbed her spirit. Clearly, clearly. As a 19 or 20-year-old woman that has a problem with a 9, 10-year-old, clearly something about me disturbed her spirit, right? So humiliation is just one of many forms of adult bullying, right? Because you also have adults that shame kids in front of their peers. That's another tactic that they'll do. They will single out, isolate a child. None of these events are isolated, but they'll have their children or kids that they'll pick on, right? And then they'll shame those kids in front of their peers to humiliate them. That is their bottom line, to humiliate those kids. You also have verbal attacks, and you also have adults who physically attack kids. Again, I don't give a damn. In high school, I don't care how well developed they are, how tall they are, if they look more mature than the other children, if they look mature for their age, they are still children. They are still children. So you will have adults that will not only shame kids in front of their peers, spew verbal attacks, but physically attack them. Physically. So, guys, as you can see here, this is a 13-year-old child, right, who got into an argument, into a disagreement, an argument with another child, with her peer at school. This is a middle schooler. As you can see, I blurred her image out because she is a child. Okay. Because she is a child, so I blurred her image out. She was attacked by adults. She was attacked by adults on a school bus because she had a disagreement and an argument with her peers. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and read the article uh, for this story. Very disturbing. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Okay. This content may be disturbing for some viewers and listeners. And also, this took place in Denton, Texas in May of this year, 2024. Okay. A criminal investigation is unfolding in Denton after a 13-year-old girl was attacked on a school bus by adults. The bus was leaving Betty Myers Middle School last week when the eighth grader says she was attacked by someone she says she didn't really know. Earlier in the day, she'd heard rumors that a girl new to the school wanted to fight her. She said, this is the what the 13-year-old girl that's blurred out in the picture, this is what she said. She said if I didn't keep her name out of my mouth, then she was going to beat me up. Explained the student we'll call Nicole to protect her identity. Nicole says she refused to get off the bus and fight. The girl hit her and she fought back to defend herself. Nicole said, I was scared, she shared, her eyes filling with tears and her voice beginning to shake. She said it was only when she heard the other girl yell, Mom, that she realized an adult had joined the fray. I was wishing I had my mama, she admits through tears, because nobody helped me. Not then, not earlier. Nicole says she told a school assistant principal and a counselor about the threats earlier in the day. She says she was later told that school officials spoke to the girl who attacked her, but it didn't seem to matter. Okay. Nicole says, and I guess one of the women came and put me in a chokehold on the bus, she shared. A chokehold. Imagine a bitch, a grown, full grown bitch, putting your 13-year-old, your child, right? Child, in a chokehold on the bus. You're expecting your child to come home to get off the bus, per usual, right? But you find out that an adult has put her in a chokehold. So Nicole says, and I guess one of the women came and put me in a chokehold on the bus. Other students on the bus pulled out cell phones and recorded the horrifying attack, but there was more. Nicole says after the two women got off the bus, they followed it to her stop, and when she got off the bus, she was attacked again. The cell phone video shows the 13-year-old on the ground screaming. And of course, I'm not going to show that. It's triggering, not only to me, but to anyone who has experienced some form of abuse as a child by an adult. So I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to share that. Okay, what I'll do is I'll make a post on my community wall. I'll share the link to this story. If you want to go ahead and watch the video for whatever reason, if you're interested in doing that, I'll go ahead and share the post. Okay. So the cell phone video shows the 13-year-old girl, the 13-year-old Nicole on the ground screaming. Somehow she was able to phone her mother. Mom says, and I heard my baby scream out, and no one did anything. Fighting back tears, Nicole's mother says she wonders why the school bus driver failed to act. Now, we know these schools don't give a damn. We know that these public schools, listen, as a parent, if you're not homeschooling and you're sending your child to school, you have to be extremely proactive, extremely involved in everything going on with your child. Don't be so quick to believe what the school, the staff is saying, right? Listen to your children, okay? If you're not homeschooling, listen, you just have to do it. No one is going to care about the well-being of your child the way that you will, the way that you do. I mean, that's just a fact. Come on, right? Mom says, had he locked the door, called for help, waited for the police to arrive, those grown adults wouldn't have been able to get on a bus, assault my child, and they wouldn't be been able to follow the bus and continue assaulting her. This is what Nicole's mom said. She also said, and then while she, a relative of the girl accused of stalking Nicole on the bus, while she was out there fighting her, he just drove off. She's referring to the bus driver who, while Nicole was being attacked by adults, more than one, the bus driver drove off. That's why I say, if your child is not being homeschooled and you're sending them off to school, you better be on your P's and Q's every second of the day. You better be keeping up with your child. You better not be so quick to believe what the administration is saying. You better listen to your child. You better be open and receptive. You better make sure that your child is comfortable with opening up to you, with telling you what's going on in her social life, at school. You better make sure you have all of that, all of that in check. Okay? Bus driver drove off. You know why? Because they don't care. It's not their child. Why would they care? Most people are not going to care about the well being of your child, right? And again, if you look at the picture of Nicole, when I was her age, she's 13 in that picture. When I was her age, I was half her size. The biggest thing on me were my boobs, boobs and a flat stomach. You look at this picture of Nicole again. I blurred it out because of her age. She could easily pass just off of her shape alone and her weight. She could easily pass for 17, 18, 19. No excuse. No excuse. This is a child. I don't care what her size and height is or how well developed she is. This is a child. Okay? So you have these degenerate, foul, repulsive, disgusting, repulsive females, adults, right? Chronologically, they're adults, but clearly there's something going on. There's something going on in their head. These chicks are not right. Something is going on with these chicks, right? They have to be mentally deficient in some way. If you think it's okay as an adult to jump on a child just because this child might be the same size as you, there's girls at my daughter's school who are bigger than me. I mean, bigger than me in every way, shape, and form. These are children. They may be bigger in size, but they're not where I'm at mentally. Why would I assault a child? Why would I think it's okay to physically tussle, right? To physically tussle with a girl because her thighs are thicker than mine, right? Because she's taller than me. And man, these chicks, disgusting, disgusting. Something you're mentally deficient. And guess what? I don't care. You can be mentally deficient all you want. You think you're gonna put your hands on my child because my child may be well developed in certain areas physically? Hmm. You think you're gonna put my child in a chokehold? Guess what? It's gonna be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing. Period. There's going to be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing if I find out that your big grown, disgusting, vile, repulsive, trifling, degenerate self had the audacity to put my child in a chokehold, right? Because my child got the best of your daughter in a fight. Because my daughter recently just went through this. My daughter just recently got the best of another child, right? And her mother had a whole unhinged episode about it, but she knew better not to do what this child went through, which is put my daughter in a chokehold. Oh yeah, because there would be a lot of slow singing and flower breaking. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. There would be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing. You think you're gonna put my child in a chokehold? Because our daughters, who are peers, who are the same age, got into an argument or some sort of disagreement, right? That escalated to a physical altercation. You think at your big, gigantic, grown age, you're going to put your mentally deficient, retarded, I hate to use that word, but in this case, it's applicable. You think you're going to, with your retarded self, you're going to put my child in a chokehold? Please. Please. You're going to meet your maker that day. You are going to meet your maker that day. I can't imagine what Nicole's mother has went through and is going through and I can't imagine what Nicole is going through. The trauma of an adult woman, putting her in a choker. She's on a school bus where she's supposed to feel safe with other children. I cannot imagine what that child and her mother is going through. Oh my God. My God. My God. I cannot imagine. Woo! Ooh, I cannot imagine. Let me tell you something. That chick, she put that little girl, that child in the chokehold. If she was smart, she would move out of that town. She would move out of Denton, Texas, if she was smart. She would not make herself seen or heard after putting someone's child in a chokehold. Oh my God. Oh my God. My God. Mm, mm, mm. Oh my God. So continuing with what Nicole says. Nicole says, I didn't deserve it. I don't think no kid deserves to go through anything like that. And her message to the woman who attacked her, Nicole said, I have to wake up every morning knowing that a grown adult put their hands on me. My God. My God. When I was doing the research on this, my blood was boiling. I did the research on this last night and I couldn't even sleep. And I had drank some tea last night, sleepy time, relaxing lavender chamomile tea, and I still couldn't sleep doing this. But I wanted to bring this story to you guys. I wanted to bring this story to you guys. She said, I have to wake up every morning knowing that a grown adult put their hands on me. I can't walk to the store anymore. I have to look and watch every time when I see a white car. This girl is traumatized. So for her to say that, that means that they pulled up on her in a white car. They jumped out of a white car, brought their big, funky STD, BV, degenerate, vile, repulsive, washed up asses on that school bus where this child was and put her in a chokehold. So now she's traumatized behind that. She says, and I have to be on watch everywhere I go because of you. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Let me continue with what the article said. Denton school officials said they are unable to discuss student discipline due to privacy laws, but could share that the student would not be returning to the campus. Oh, of course not. Of course. Of course not. Right? As for questions regarding the bus driver's conduct, the school said, following this situation, transportation officials addressed the driver, reinforce procedures, and provide additional training, blah, 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 blah. Listen, all of that is nonsense. It's irrelevant. You have to keep up with your child. You have to ask your child questions. Make sure that they're comfortable telling you things. My daughter is comfortable telling me when she's having an issue with one of her peers with another child. Right? That way I can help her gauge and navigate the situation. And especially if they have parents like this girl did, right? Who are unhinged, who are so unhinged and mentally deficient, they could not take. And in this case, Nicole says she didn't even know the girl. The girl was new. And the girl said that she had her name in her mouth. Now, listen, I don't know who started what. Nicole says she didn't start the fight. Here's my thing. Whether Nicole started an argument with her or not, these are children. You let the children hash out whatever differences that they have. You don't bring your big funky STD BV having self into a situation with children. You let them hash their differences out. How else are they going to learn conflict resolution? Am I saying it's okay for children to put their hands on each other? Absolutely not. But let's not pretend that that's not a thing and that's not going to happen. Let's not pretend. You don't bring your big funky behind self into a situation between children. My God, it makes my blood boil. It makes my blood boil because I am a parent of a teenager and I wish a degenerate female would. And I wish a degenerate female would. Oh, my God. My God, my God, my God. So anyway, Nicole says that she was suspended for 3 days for, in her words, defending herself. That's another thing. Why are children, when you think about the disciplinary protocol in these schools, why are children being punished for defending themselves? What does that remind you of, y'all? Think about that for 2 seconds. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Why are children in schools punished for defending themselves? What does that remind y'all of? 1 second. Be right back. Does that not remind you all of the school to prison pipeline? Does that not remind you all of the school to prison pipeline where someone who is defending themselves also gets punished? Does not make any damn sense whatsoever. But that's what we're dealing with. That's why I say if your children are going to a public school, this is what you need to be aware of. These schools are not there to protect your children, right? The staff there, they're not. Of course, you may have one or two teachers who are really invested in children. And I know women right now. I know women who are passionate about their positions, about their role in children's lives. They work with children, they teach children in some capacity, right? Whatever the curriculum is, whether it's arts, whether it's, you know, English, math, science, art, dancing, whatever capacity they're in, they are truly and genuinely passionate about teaching these children, your children and my children. They're passionate about it. But you have to keep in mind, if you are not homeschooling your children, once your children leave your home, you have to consider anything can take place. People are not going to love and care about the well-being of your child like you are and like you will. So don't be so quick to believe what staff is saying. And I know that the teachers are underpaid. From my understanding, a lot of teachers are underpaid and stressed out. But guess what? Here's my take on that. That's what you signed up for. That is what, if you don't like it, like with any other profession, if it's overwhelming, if it's stressing you out, leave. Leave. Because guess what? Parents like me, we're going to go to bat. We're going to stand 10 toes down for our children. That doesn't mean we're not going to discipline our children and set up a structure for them, right? But we're not just going to automatically believe what's being said up there at the schools. Okay. So again, Nicole says that she was suspended for 3 days for defending herself. Mom says, I feel like Denton ISD, the school system, failed my child. I could. I could be a parent planning funeral arrangements. Oh my God. When you think about a big grown funky STD BV having chick putting your child in a chokehold. Ooh, a big old sloppy drunk STD BV mentally deficient goofy hit me. Oh my God, chick putting your child in a chokehold while you're at work expecting your child to come home with a smile on her or his face. When you think about that, oh God, it makes you think about funeral arrangements for them. Mom said I could be a parent planning funeral arrangements if they would have had a weapon and got on a bus with a knife or a gun. My God. And then mom says, do better. Her message to the school district, do better. If a child is reaching out to you, is telling you someone is bothering them, and they try to avoid the situation, do better and help them. And again, unfortunately, no one is going to care about the well-being of your children. When you send them off to school, only thing you can do is pray. Only thing you can do is instill tools and skills to help them navigate people, help them identify when they are being mistreated. A lot of children can't even pick up when they're being mistreated by adults, by adult bullies, right? A lot of them can't even identify when they're being mistreated. So you have to cultivate discernment in your children. You have to help them identify microaggressions, right? A lot of children don't understand this and have not been taught because their parents have not been taught. A lot of parents automatically go with what the school board says happened. They automatically run with it. They don't believe their child, and that's very unfortunate. I'm not one of those parents. I'm also not one of those parents. Oh, my child didn't do anything. Oh, my child is innocent 100% of the time. No, I'm absolutely not one of those parents. My child is a human being like everyone else, right? But I'm not going to automatically run with what you said because I know that you don't give a damn about my child. You don't care about her well being like I do. And you don't have to. You don't have to. That's the thing. So the damage that these children experience is not only immediate, right? Because it's immediate in most cases, but there's also lifelong scars that they have to deal with. Okay, lifelong. I mean, look at the experience that I shared with you guys. Right now, to this day, as a 42-year-old woman, I can vividly recall all of the events from this grown adult woman bullying me as I don't know if it was 9 or 10, one of those though. I can vividly remember being bullied by an adult woman over 30 years ago. So there's definitely not only immediate damage, but there's lifelong trauma, lifelong scars as well. And I'm cool because I understand the psychology behind it, right? But of course, that came with me doing inner work. Again, a lot of you guys, y'all know I talk a lot about doing shadow work and inner work. Okay. Extremely, extremely, extremely important. Okay. So the after effects for children who are bullied by adults. Oh my goodness. There's a ripple effect. There is a ripple effect on their self esteem. So the ripple effect causes low self esteem, it causes anxiety, trust issues, depression, right? Watch out for children. I don't know how many of you listening to this video, if you are parents to young children, right? Or if you're not, even if you're not a parent, if you have nieces or nephews, or there's children in your family that you love, right? Or you're planning on one day, you're planning on having children. There's a ripple effect of this type of behavior from adult bullies on children that causes low self esteem, anxiety, trust issues. Think about yourself. If you have been bullied by an adult, and if you have low self esteem, if you are experiencing depression and you have anxiety and trust issues, look at your child or children in your family that you love, right? Watch out for children who just out of nowhere they disengage from activities that they usually enjoy. Okay? That were once fun to them, that they usually enjoy engaging in. Okay? Just like I mentioned in the story when I told my mom, she said, why you don't want to go out and ride your bike? I no longer wanted to ride my bike outside. I wanted to disengage. I didn't know that that's what I was doing, but I knew that I didn't want to deal with this adult, with this grown up who I knew was physically stronger than me, first and foremost, because again, the first law of human nature is self-preservation. The first law of human nature is self-preservation. So even at a young age, I knew that I couldn't beat this woman. I knew that I could not beat her physically, let alone mentally. I had to get through physically, right? Children understand this. They may not be able to name it, to label it, to identify it, but they understand that there is a power dynamic at play. They understand that they cannot physically overpower the person who is making them feel small, who is berating them, who is disparaging them, who is degrading them, who is abusing them, right? Also, children who have been bullied by adults, they also tend to internalize humiliation and criticism. And what that does for them, they end up believing that they deserve humiliation and constant criticism. Listen, and a couple videos ago, I did a video on cults, how social media cults are similar to, like Jim Jones cult, a Heaven's Gate. Um, People say, Nature Boy, he had a cult, whatever. I bring him up for reference only. So there is kids internalizing humiliation and criticism who end up believing that they deserve that. So when you see people who are gung ho, right? They are gung ho about someone who they follow on social media, someone who they refer to as a leader, teacher, mentor, guru, guide, whatever, right? They hang on to their every word. That person who they look up to, who they revere, everyone else can see where they are talking down to them, where they are disparaging them, where they are humiliating them, where they are gaslighting them, right? Where they are gaslighting them. That is usually because that person has internalized humiliation and criticism, and it's to the point where it's okay. They can't really identify it. It's just become a part of them. Okay. It's just become a part of them. They're okay with being ridiculed and humiliated because they did not have an adult, such as myself, who was able to teach them to identify where they were being mistreated, where they were being disparaged. They did not teach them how to spot microaggressions because sometimes it's not just bold and outward and out front and on front street. Most of the times it's subtle. Most of the times the humiliation, the disrespect, it's subtle. And so children especially will not be able to pick up on that, right? Because children are very bold. How children operate, children are very, y'all know children will get up in your face and tell you your breath stinks. Children will get right in your face. I seen it. Oh, your breath stink. You ugly. There's a thing going on TikTok that I saw where there's a woman who she was doing a TikTok. I didn't really watch it. I watched reaction videos to that TikTok. There was a woman on TikTok who did a video, I guess just talking and uh um in front of the camera or whatever. I don't know what she was talking about, right? She was just talking. And her daughter said that she was ugly. And she cussed this little girl out. She cussed her daughter out and slapped her. And then she told her daughter, "No, you're ugly." After she cussed her out, she told her that she was ugly. And she's getting a lot of backlash behind that. Some of y'all might have seen that already on TikTok, right? And her daughter told her that she was ugly. And then when the mother said, "No, you're ugly," and the daughter said, "No, I'm not," that's because children are truth tellers. Children are truth tellers. Y'all heard the saying, who tells the truth? Children and drunk people. Drunks and children, right? So, again, find a way to cultivate a relationship with your child where they feel comfortable opening up to you. Don't be so rigid and put off by what's going on today. Yes, a lot of people need to go outside and touch grass. However, if you have a child growing up in this era, right? Teenagers, middle schoolers, teenagers, you better adapt. You better adapt, whether you like it or not, whether you feel like it or not, because you need to assist your child with navigating adult bullies because they're out here, right? They are out here. And these adults who bully kids, a lot of them were bullied and tormented as kids. That's why at their big, dumb, goofy ages, where they're abusing children, not big, dumb, goofy ages, because I'm at a big age. But while they're at their big ages, they're behaving in goofy, violent behavior towards children. because they did not have the courage when they were kids to confront those who were bullying them. More often than not, it started within the home and then it extended into the schools, right? Their bullying, adult bullying, is also rooted in distorted beliefs. Again, that comes from them being bullied. They are developmentally arrested. And you have to be careful, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of these people who are developmentally arrested, who were abused and tormented and violated as children, starting at home, many of them, some of them it started in school, but mostly at home where it began. A lot of them grow up to become these, right now in this age that we're in, these social media teachers and mentors and gurus. A lot of them, what they spew and their tone and their messages are very disparaging. And the people that they draw up, they were also bullied. Just pay attention. Just pay attention. I'm not telling you, not to follow certain people or whatever. I'm not telling you what to do in general. But if you pay attention, you'll see that these gurus, these teachers, these mentors, all of the above, influencers, a lot of them were bullied and tormented as kids. Their behavior and their ideologies are rooted in dysfunction, right? They are developmentally arrested themselves. Oh, and they're quick to say that other people are developmentally arrested, but they are too. They are too, right? They are too because they were bullied, ignored, abused at home. And now that we're in the social media age, they can carry their developmentally arrested, dysfunctional, distorted beliefs onto the internet. And then what they'll do is draw up your children if you are not active in their lives. If you are not creating an atmosphere where your children are comfortable coming to you, whatever it's about, right? For assistance and for guidance. So, with that, what I suggest are some actionable steps, right? And some solutions. Again, the very first thing that you want to do, check in with yourself first. Check in with yourself as far as where you are lacking. Where are you lacking? What are your traumas? What triggers you, right? What triggers you? What sets you off? What has you going off on the deep end? What has you ready to crash out? Check in with yourself first as a parent, okay? Because again, you want to teach your children what to look for, what to look out for, how to recognize disrespect and mistreatment. Because sometimes, oftentimes, both of those are extremely subtle. There's a lot of adults who cannot point out mistreatment and disrespect because they are so thirsty for validation. They are so thirsty and desperate for validation and acceptance that they cannot identify and recognize disrespect and mistreatment. Boundaries, please, please. That's not even something to talk about with them yet, right? They're at baby steps. They're not even walking. They're not even walking yet. But if you are at the place where you have got to the bottom of yourself, right? Where you have started some sort of shadow work and inner work, where you can recognize disrespect, mistreatment, where you have come to a place where you're able to not only set boundaries, remember I spoke about that, and from good girl to villain. Not only do you have to set boundaries, but enforce them. If you're at that point, good. Very, very good. But you also want to help your children identify these subtle microaggressions, right? You also want to help them cultivate their discernment. Listen, children are way more emotionally intelligent than we give them credit for. Absolutely. And I am so, although we all know that motherhood, parenthood can be stressful at times, absolutely. I'm not going to lie and say that. You know, I don't have a problem with women when they say they don't want any children. They living their best lives, child free. You go, girl. Look, I don't have any problem with that, right? But I also embrace motherhood. This is because this is a choice that I made, that I wanted, right? And this is why I'm able to navigate it and still look good, still look youthful, still look refreshed, still winning because I always win, right? And now I am raising a young lady into a woman who's also going to always look youthful, refreshed, rejuvenated, who knows how to set and enforce boundaries. This is a type of woman that I'm raising, right? So children are more emotionally intelligent than we give them credit for. So many children can actually sense when energy is off. But what you want to do as a parent or as an aunt, right? Anybody, you know, you're an aunt, you have nieces and nephews. You want to help these children name the disrespect, name the weird energy, name the mistreatment. You want them to be able to name it and label it and how to pick up on microaggressions. So, with that being said, guys, this is something that I'm very passionate about when it comes to children because, again, because I am a parent, I am also an aunt. I have nieces and nephews, plenty. Okay. Right. I am also um, a person who has experienced bullying as a child, just like the women in those videos that I shared at the beginning of this video. And I know some of you are also as well. Some of you also can relate and you also have stories to share. So don't be afraid to share your stories. Leave your comments in the comment section. And also, don't forget to like this video. Go ahead and subscribe. If you enjoy this content and you would like to keep up with similar content, and share this video, share, because this is extremely important. We have a lot of parents who cannot homeschool, right? I don't like to see parents shamed because they're not able to homeschool their children. The way that they make their money, the way that they make their income, they have to be outside of the home and they have to send their children to school. And we don't want to shame them because they're doing the best that they can, right? Again, go ahead. My name is Tiffany Masika. Go ahead and like this video, share it, and subscribe. Peace.